Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah.
Hello?
Whoa.
All right, give me a little count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, great. Now sing it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, hey.
Yeah, it works. Oh yeah, that works.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, so I am talking into this, which you will not be able to hear, but the public will. So I want to make sure that I'm still loud enough for you here. If I talk like this, you could hear me?
Heck yeah.
Okay. You don't need me to sing it?
I don't, unless you want to. It's encouraged, but you don't have to.
No, it'll it's kind of like a thing where if I prompt it, it makes me look needy. But if you're like, will you do it? I would be
Understood.
like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we're ready to get started.
All right, all right.
And either before we do or as the beginning, let me say thank you so much for being willing and wanting to do this. I know you have so much going on right now with producing your own American Idol.
No, I'm really excited to just chat and not sing for a second.
Sure.
Thanks for making me sing my counting. I'm kidding.
Okay, I was about to sweat until you said I'm kidding. All right, so I want to talk about all things that are best to talk about, but the thing that at the moment I'm most wait. Almost ready. 80 years old, the way I'm doing this. Okay. The thing that I'm most curious about in this moment, because of me doing this podcast and spending my entire, what feels like life, setting everything up and scheduling and editing and setting up the cameras and the lights and figuring out the best tech, blah, blah, blah. Watching what you guys are doing is at like the highest level and is so impressive. And I'm not sure if the regular average public recognizes, they probably do, but how much of a struggle and how well executed this is. And without giving you a specific talking point, could you tell me what your experience has been like having to set up for live television?
Yeah. So I guess when we first got the news that this was going to be the case, it was terrifying, because you're already nervous to perform and be on national television, just and concentrating on getting the deed done. But then then there's all these factors about setting up all the equipment, just like you were saying, the lighting, making your background look nice compared to other people's. There's just so many more factors. But to be honest, the production crew just really kills it with helping out. They're very clear with their instructions. So as much as it's been challenging, it's been pretty easy to catch on, even though there's been a ridiculous amount of steps involved. And it's definitely a lot of work on top of, again, just performing. But
I'm very curious about the process, and I apologize to both you and anyone listening if this is boring questions I'm about to ask. But I want to know, how does this happen? So you guys, and for people who are watching and who have not seen what's going on in American Idol, obviously the pandemic thing that people are talking about is existing in the world. So they can't leave the house. They're doing live shows, and they're doing it from their living rooms, their backyards, etc. So what I want to know is what happens. They send you lights. They send you microphones. Do they call you? Do they give you instructions? Does somebody show up 6 feet away and help with anything?
No, so nobody shows up to help. That's out of the picture. But what happens is they'll get on a Zoom call and you'll put them behind the iPhone from the Zoom call so they can check angles. I don't know how the hell they do it.
Is that kind of like how you're putting the iPhone up for this?
Yes. Yes, but basically I'll hold my laptop behind an iPhone while they're on Zoom looking through the iPhone at the set.
For what? To find the best frame?
To find the best frame, to work with lighting. These people are wizards. It's nuts.
So all your cameras are iPhones. What do you have, 4 of them?
We have 3 of them.
And they're static shots, and in the episodes, you obviously do a sound check because there are moments where they know to push in and out. But then I started wondering, this can't all be live because they cut to the person talking exactly at the right time. There's no way a switcher could never make a mistake.
Oh, no. Well, You mean the performance itself? It's one take. Like you singing, your audio, they give you a warning. They'll be like, it's always the second take. They'll be like, this is the take where your audio is going to be used. If you mess up, you mess up. Like that's very much live.
What do you mean there's always a second take?
So we film a bunch of takes just to, get camera angles, all that good stuff. But we don't get like 4 chances to sing it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we don't get to pick our best audio take, or the producers don't even get to pick our best audio take. Everybody has the same. So say if there's 4 takes, the third one is always the audio that's going to be used. You know what I mean? So if you have a banging first and second take,
I don't know what you mean. So when they go,
okay.
So you're top 20, right? And they're listing, or the top 20, they're narrowing down the top 10. And once they mention somebody's name, they cut to a clip of you in the house singing with a whisker, and then it cuts back to you. And once it cuts back to you, is that live or is that one of 4 takes that they fill in?
Oh, I know what you're saying. I was talking about a different thing. Yeah, no. It's that part's not live. That would be incredible. But they do it amazing. The performance right after they cut to like, okay, next in the top whatever is Julia Gargano.
Right.
When it cuts to that performance, I'm watching it at home. I'm watching, not performing. Does that make
right. Sense? Okay. Because that was blowing my mind. So the performance so what's live? Your reaction to winning or losing is the live part, right? What's live?
I don't know if I can say this.
Right. You can't
what's
say.
Live,
I think you already did.
What's live is me watching from home. Well, I'm allowed to say that because we all post our reactions. Like we all post on Instagram us watching the episode. It's just, they just piece it together like a nice little puzzle. Oh no, you know what?
Do you perform it that day?
No.
Okay.
But again.
Are you worried about what you're telling me?
No, I'm not worried, and the funny thing is like I'm naturally as a human just like a big chicken worry wart. That's just a
BCWW.
Yeah, of course. But they say this. They say all of this. This has all been announced. So I'm not breaking no rules.
I have watched every episode. I didn't know this.
The episode. Stop. Now you're making me nervous.
And we'll be right back with a word from our sponsors. If you're looking for just the right flooring, you need choices. And at Marshall Carpet One, you'll certainly find them.
The episode that is live is the finale. And that is known. That's what's going to be like. Us singing live. Okay. Bam. I'm in my room while you're watching it. And yeah, we are singing in our bedrooms. And you will be watching it at the same time.
I'm going to be coming back to this later because I still have questions about it, but I think we should talk more about like who you are and what the process you're going through is. And I have a little bit of understanding of it, but from years before you did it. I have a few friends that were American Idol alum. My ex-girlfriend was on American Idol, and the process has clearly changed. And but also, it's got to be individual for everybody. So your first audition, have you done anything like this before? Have you auditioned for American Idol?
I haven't even auditioned for a freaking battle of the bands. Like, competition, music in general, like, I sweat profusely. Not my thing. Singing shows were always, like, a guilty pleasure of mine, but never something I would ever do. Not my cup of tea. I was never one to venture outside of my comfort zone. That wasn't my style.
What inspired you to audition?
Honestly, it was seeing a few songwriters go on the show. Because I've never been one, like, super confident in my voice, if I'm being truthful. And then I saw, like, people like Alejandro, and there was a girl named Katie Turner 2 seasons back. And they were both just, like, amazing songwriters. And, like, that's what stuck out to the nation, and that's what like people loved about them. And I was like, oh wow, like, maybe maybe I do have a little bit of a shot of making it someplace on the show.
So what's the process? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. But I'll again, this was even after seeing those people, I still never want to audition for American Idol or any of the shows ever. But I worked at a music studio, and I was the intern. I was, like, cleaning toilets and stuff. And then my boss got an email, and it was like, oh, like, send a bunch of your artists in for this, like, private, producers-only idol audition. And she was telling me to, like, write this email, like, write all these people's names down, send this email, like, replying back to one of the producers. And she put my name on it. And I was like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Like, what's my name doing on there? She's like, oh, like, come on, just give it a shot. Like, you have nothing to lose.
How'd she know you could sing?
Nervous. Oh, I sang to her all the time. But so I love, like, I'm very open about being a singer-songwriter, and I do it everywhere in Staten Island, but that was that was just, like, my shtick. So she knew that's what I love to do, so she wrote my name down, trying to push me, and then now I'm here. The audition was actually the next day after she sent my name into the email.
Did she send other names that also went to audition?
Yes, like a whole list of them.
Did any of them make it to Hollywood?
No.
So all of her clients that are musicians don't, but you're cleaning toilets and restocking the vending machines and mowing the lawn and painting the signs, and then you make it through.
Painting the signs.
Yeah.
Yes, the sign painter made it through.
It's a fun
It's crazy,
story.
They're all so talented too. Yeah, it is. Isn't that? It's a fun little beginning.
So you get the clear to go, and then you don't have to go through the steps of pre-auditions. You already make it to producers, or is there?
Producer is a pre-audition.
So there was. Yeah. So your first time singing for American Idol was in the room with the 3 judges.
No.
Yeah. So what is that?
That would be skipping the steps. So my first, the one that I got the audition for was just for the producers.
And where do you go to do that?
I went to Brooklyn.
And do you dress up? Do you know that you're not on camera, so it doesn't matter?
I mean, I didn't. Again, there was a lot of people that were like looking.
I'm only asking about your process. Just you. Nobody else.
Yeah, no. Well, this was part of the process, you know. Like I didn't really dress up that much. I mean, I had like a Nirvana t-shirt on and a pair of jeans, and I just went in, and I was nervous as fuck. Excuse my language. Am I allowed to curse? Yes. For my sake.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's 2020, you know?
Sorry, I'm a baby. I was just like, I just didn't even think there was a chance, like really, like at all, like not even 1% shot.
You go to Brooklyn and you're in what? You're in a room? How many producers are there? Who's there? Is it, you don't
5.
have, there's 5 people. There's no sticker or anything yet. This is all behind the scenes stuff. Are you
all
waiting in
behind the
line, or
scenes.
do you have a time to show up and you got to go right in?
Like a mixture of both. They like tell you a time, but there's still like a line of people in front of you. And while you're filling out paperwork, you just get called one by one.
Do you hear the people before you singing?
Yes.
So is that nerve-wracking? Like when you hear somebody good or bad, what do you feel?
They were all great, and I was terrified. Again, I never branded myself as a singer. Like I go to school for writing. Like I always wanted to be a songwriter. So I was like, what the hell? It was really just like, what the hell am I doing here? And then, but people just kept like walking out, and I didn't know what it meant. You know, some people walked out with this like gold slip, and some people were like, oh yeah, they said that they'll call me, and I was like, what? And they were incredible.
So you could find out. Did you find out right after your performance with them?
Yes, and this is what was so exciting. So again, hearing all these people, amazing singers come out, not really getting anything, not getting any news. And I go in there and I sang 3 songs total for them. I sang X's and O's. I sang Call Your Girlfriend by Robin. And then they're like, okay, like, let's hear something that it's your favorite song to perform, like when you're playing out, like it's a showstopper. And I was like, well, I usually just play my originals. And they're like, okay, like play us an original. And that's when I played my song Growing Pains.
Did you have a piano in the audition?
Yeah.
Cool.
I played guitar for the first 2, and then I played piano for Growing Pains. And I heard them like chattering, so I stopped, and they were like, "Oh no, like, you know what? We actually like we really love it." And their reaction was great. One of the producers actually pulled me out, and he was like, "You know, like you can really go far in this show." And that's why I was like, "Wow. Like this is really strange. Really strange. Every round gets stranger and stranger for me, I'm not going to lie." It's just really hard to believe. Freaking nuts.
It's very cool. I can't empathize with the situation you're in because it happened so fast. The closest thing I could think of is I was on this TV show for NBC. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was working in a restaurant, and then all of a sudden I'm on this TV show. And the process for that is audition and then get it and then film the pilot, and then we waited almost a year before it got picked up, and then more time, and it was just like this gradual thing. And for you, at least once it comes on TV, the amount of time from it airing to you performing here is so fast. What was you have like, and this is such a bullshit, I don't know if it's a question or an observation, but you have mid 50,000 or so followers on Instagram. I'm curious how many of those came post Instagram. I mean post Idol.
Oh, 56,000 of them.
Right. So you have no following. And then when did they start coming in? Was it the audition round you started seeing it, or each level it started growing more?
The biggest jump was the first audition. Like when I sang in front of the three judges in, Washington D.C. You get the golden ticket, that round. That was when I saw the biggest jump.
What does that feel like?
Yeah, it's really strange because it's all social. It's all in cell phone land. It's all technology world. I was at college when the episode aired, and then
studying what?
Music composition. It's like songwriting. So then, what the hell am I going to do with that degree? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But then, I guess now it's kind of...
Yeah, are you kidding me? That's exactly the degree you want to have.
I was like, okay, I'm happy that was figured out for me. I just, went back to school. After my first audition, Everything was online. Everybody knew me at college. I went to a really small school. Then, I fly to Hawaii, do that whole big thing, so cool, go back to school. Then I fly to LA and that's when you actually start to really relish in it. I heard once you fly out to LA for the live shows, that's when
Did you ever fly? So you flew out to LA.
I did.
And then it was canceled and everyone flies home.
Yes. So now it's just all online, So it's definitely cool. It's definitely an amazing thing that's happening, but it's different, it's hard to really just make social media feel real.
You have an incredible voice. And
thank you so much.
You wanted to be a songwriter because you love music. I assume now you want to be a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
Go ahead.
And don't get me wrong, I still want to write for other artists, not including myself. I find so much pride in watching somebody else sing a story that I wrote, and watching them do it like they wrote it. I think it's a fascinating process. I love it, and I definitely want to do that. But people like Sia and, Ryan Tedder, all these singer-songwriters are also just killing it, writing songs for every pop artist on the block. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what I want to do now.
What's your confidence level like from before this to where you are now, including the social media thing? Because it's a real mind fuck sometimes, because when people are you're validated, whether you accept it or not, there is a validation from people, applauding you, whether it's at a live show or fans sending you mail or more instantly on Instagram. So you go from no followers to this huge jump in followers where people are doing this. Are you thinking yeah, I'm great? Are you thinking they're lying? Does it change your psyche by other people's opinions of you?
It really hasn't. The only way my confidence has really increased is by being pushed outside my comfort zone on the show, which is every single round. Every single round, I'm completely pushed out of my comfort zone to do a different thing. And once I get past the next level, it sounds like a video game. Once I get past, through to the next round, that's when my confidence will change in a way that I just thought I would never be able to do it. Any of this, it's just nuts. Not so much from the comments I'm getting on Instagram, they're lovely to read, and it's more unbelievable. That I have a hard time believing,
I do.
Because it's just a year ago I was literally bussing at a restaurant, and now I just have internet people who I just can't see their faces, little, just telling me all this, sending me drawings of my face. It's wacky. And Maybe one day, but yeah, right now it's the confidence part more comes from actually doing it and succeeding, which is like.
So you said every round you push yourself into something that makes you feel different. So the obvious is you're doing something you've never done before. You're auditioning first round. You're Hollywood. You're Hawaii. Those are all fixed variables that everybody experiences. But is there any specific thing that you could think of that before that performance you didn't think that you would do, but then you were pushed and you accomplished? Does that question make sense?
It does. Before what round?
So you said that after each round, like your confidence comes from the growth. Yeah. Is there an example you could give? Like I would have never thought I would have done this or could have done this, and then I did it, and there was a win.
Okay, ready? I'll literally take you through my timeline. Literally the first audition, I had Growing Pains ready to go, my original song, right? Show up there, you have to go into this music room to talk to this music lady, and you have to play 2 different options. She actually recommended that I did another song, and I was like, oh my God, Julia, like, you always like take people's advice that looks like they know things that you don't. Mm-hmm. So I was freaking out there, went with my gut there, did Growing Pains, got a great reaction. That was one thing that totally pushed me out of my comfort zone to just like follow my gut.
Then your audition for in front of the judges was that. It was that was what they aired, but you did a few songs for them?
No, I just did Growing Pains, which is like nutty because sometimes, you get asked to do a couple songs, but Growing Pains was it. Like, right. I just think, wow, imagine if I like chickened out and was like, all right, lady that like actually works for American Idol, like, of course I'm going to take your advice. Nuts. Then in Hollywood Week, I was terrified. That isn't even the baseline to describe how I was feeling. I had to do a cover. I basically was auditioning all over again because I had to do a cover for the first time. And that week, oh my God, that week was a train wreck.
You're given a song selection of 20, 50 songs that you have to pick one from.
Yeah, the first round was we can pick a song off of a huge cleared list. So that one was a lot easier. I did The Joke by Brandy Carlisle. Mm-hmm. I love that song. I wasn't as nervous for that one. The second round was duets. And that's another thing. I played guitar. I did a country. I was my partner and I like did a country song, and I was.
What was the song? I don't remember.
That wasn't aired because it was it was a special performance.
Gotcha.
Let's just say that. It was "Don't You Want to Stay" by Kelly Clarkson and Jason Aldean.
And they didn't air it. They were pushing you. Since the beginning, they had an idea that you were somebody who would be making it here. They chose not to show that. They didn't love the performance. How do you feel after that performance that's not your favorite?
Oh, this is like another part where I kind of, prove myself wrong, just like in doubt wise. I was totally ready to pack up my bags and go just because it was so much like.
Why? No sleep, pressure?
Well, definitely no sleep. Like, I think everybody, they kind of set it up like a boot camp. Like, if you're tough, like, you're not going to be able to handle this world. Like, if you want to be a successful musician or someone in the entertainment business, like, you better get ready to grind, Like, if you can't handle sleepless nights and having to perform the next day, But that's what happened to me, kind of. I started to... It was internal. Like, I didn't complain to producers or anything, but we got, like, 2 hours of sleep a night, I think, that whole week. Each night.
How many nights was it?
Oh, a full week.
Okay.
So, but I think it started Sunday and ended Friday. So, yeah, probably, like, 2 hours a night, I would say. And definitely a lot of learning songs the night before, which... You just start to get a little like mind fucked like towards the end. It's like, whoa, like I got I get really bad migraines. In one of the episodes, I think I want to find it. I was wearing sunglasses inside because I get such bad migraines. So you just see me in the background looking like a blind mouse.
Yeah, like she made it to Hollywood Week and she's changed.
Just like, move out of the way, bitches. So I have these sunglasses on. I was just
that's tough.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, and at the last round, I actually forgot the name to my own song.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, that was really cute. I loved that. I got off stage. I was like, oh, like, shit. Like, that wasn't good. Like, that wasn't cool, Julia.
I have a question about that. So there's something interesting. This is about reality television where you're, on one hand, you being the person of focus. Cameras are on you, but at a certain point, it's like it's about what you're doing and you're not paying attention to that. But then in certain moments where you may feel embarrassed or try to control something, like feeling silly that you forgot the name to your own song, then there's an opportunity for you to like correct it to the viewer. And like this, I see this in live performances. Like forget American Idol, forget music, just on stage or in audition rooms, people do stuff, and I'm very hypersensitive to it, and I feel like it's you want to beat this, and what that is when people mess up, they go like they a lot of times they stick their tongue out like even people. I was watching this. I'm a big Magic the Gathering collector. I don't know if you know that game, but it's a collectible card game. It's like an adult Pokemon, right? And I've recently gotten back into it, just looking online and watching these videos of people unpacking their cards and seeing what stuff. And Magic players, no disrespect, I'm one of them, are fucking losers. You know what I mean? I mean, not really, but they're just like nerds, and they make nerdy, corny jokes. And there's a certain type of person that is a Magic the Gathering player. Mm-hmm. And I was watching last night. A guy is opening a pack, and he says the wrong name of a card. It's a Siobhan Dragon. He says a Shivet, whatever it was. And then for like 8 seconds, he's like, oh, I'm such a fucking idiot. Shivet. And it's like, relax, guy. No one gives a fuck. But I think there's a subconscious like insecurity or instinct for me to let you know I messed up. And then it's not only does it like shine a light on it, it also is like gets in the way. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I did notice that when you did it, you had an honest feeling on stage, which was like, fuck, I messed up, which came out of you. And then afterwards, when the camera's on you, and they're like, how do you feel? This is so long-winded, and I get so like, I don't like self-conscious about how much I'm talking. So sorry, everybody. But like, why bother? I don't mean this rhetorically. I mean this really trying to understand. Why is it worth it to you to then continue on saying how you messed up? I'm not saying it's wrong. I really want to understand the psychology of that.
So, well, it's funny because they did edit out on stage. I kind of made a joke, but it was actually like a funny one. You know what I mean? I was trying not to dwell on it. I made a joke, and it was actually funny. Here's
your opportunity. What did you say once you messed it up?
I'm so ready for this moment. So I did say, so I forgot the name. I was like, oh, so the name of I'm performing an original. The name is like Cricket. Very embarrassing. Ha ha ha. And I was like, oh man. And then I remembered, I was like, okay, the name of my song is Living Proof, and it's about how my brain gets the best of me sometimes. How fitting. Everyone, it was good, waha. Totally changed the mood. The mood was saved. Smiles returned to the judges' faces. Katy Perry was literally like this. Like, no smile. Like, I was too happy in that picture I just said. She was like this. I was like staring into her soul, trying to remember the name of this damn song that I'm never singing again as long as I live. So she's staring at me with no smile and like really wide eyes while I'm just like searching for a new name of this song. Like, okay, let me just name it like Happy Chicken Dance or something.
Sure.
And then, good one. And then afterwards, they'll say like, how did your performance go? Like, how did you feel about what happened? You know what I mean?
Everybody is always their most humble in those moments, and I don't like it. I don't like that nobody ever says. The best people say about themselves is, I gave it my all, and I got to tell you something, my hope was enough, but either way, I'm really happy with what I gave. And it's just like so, it feels such bullshit. Like, do you feel a need to, if you think you did well, downplay it, and if you think you did bad, try and be like, and like really say like, yeah, you know, I was nervous, make excuses. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. If I did poorly, I never like, I'll be like, yo, like that was shitty. Like, I'll just say it flat like that. You know what I mean? I don't really, I don't know. I'm getting better at that. Like, but if I have a good performance, I'm gonna say I had a good performance. I mean, I'm not gonna like be like, wow, like blew the doors off that place, man.
Why not?
But I'm gonna be because
is that unlikable?
I'm gonna say, no. It's actually it depends. I think it depends how you say it. Like I would say, wow, I really felt confident that was one of the best feelings I've ever had.
How did you feel?
I don't think I could have done it any better.
How did you feel about your top 20 New York State of Mind performance?
Oh, so wait, that was to get into top 11. That top 20 was Human.
I mean, like when there was I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm just trying to like. I felt differently about those two things.
It was last one. Yeah, it was the one right when you went from 20 to 10 or 11.
New York, got it.
New York State of Mind. How'd you feel about that performance?
Truthfully.
Yes.
Truthfully, 100%. After I sang it, and we can like listen back just to the acapella version because we have in-ears. Like the cameras just capture our audio, not the instrumental playing. That's all like added in later.
Oh, so you having the band and stuff is not happening while you're singing.
It is. It's in our ears,
but it's pre-recorded.
Yeah, they'll send you a track.
Gotcha.
They send you a track, and you play it. And you record it, it's in your ears, and the camera just picks up your vocal.
Yeah.
So after that performance, I really didn't know how it went. Like truthfully, I mean, it went well in the sense that I didn't think I could have done it much better. That's what I felt. I was like, you know what? I didn't like hit a really terrible note on live television. Like I'm good. And I was even asking my mom before we heard the judges' comments, like this can go either really well or like horribly, like I'm singing a Billy Joel song. I got really in my head about it. But then
why did you choose to not play the piano?
Because when we first did top 20 performances, I did Human, like right to get to the top 10. So before I played New York State of Mind, I thought it could come off really karaoke if I didn't play an instrument. And I love stepping away from the piano every now and then or the guitar because I do like telling a story with my hands. I love playing the piano. That's a huge part of my shtick. But it's fun to do that. But I was terrified to do that for
because it's a Billy song.
At-home performances. Because it's a Billy song, and also just I don't want anything to come off karaoke-ish. Like I was scared about that as a singer-songwriter, as like. But then I saw the episodes and I was like, wow, these people are like killing it. Like this doesn't seem some people just like really made it seem organic, and I didn't get that karaoke vibe at all from the people that weren't playing an instrument.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I also changed it up a little bit, and Billy Joel is Billy Joel. I feel like if I can't play all the notes he's playing on the piano,
that's what I was wondering. Do you think maybe you can't play that song the same?
In the heat of the moment, I was just very extra nervous that I wouldn't deliver it the way it needed to be delivered. And I just like...
It was awesome. That performance,
Thank you.
I knew that you and I were, I'm already a fan as I've told you.
Thank you.
But I was watching because I'm about to have you on, and I knew that and there was like a part of me that was I mean, in the smallest sense, but still aware of, I wanted it to be a good performance. I'm sure they're all going to be good, but I wanted it to be a good performance because I wanted to be able to say, I just watched this thing and it was fucking, and it was so good. But I was curious because you're a piano player, and I mean, that's what a song, and Billy Joel is a piano musician, and I was just curious if the difficulty level of that song, especially with the way that you sang it, combined with the nerves of doing them not knowing how many takes you could have, I was curious if that was a factor in deciding I'm just going to crush the vocals and not worry about this intricate piano.
Yes, and it's true because when it comes down to it, it is a singing show. You kind of have to think. There's a few people that really love the musicians, and I do try to do that.
What do you mean? Are you saying the audience? Few people in the audience? Yeah. Why?
Yeah,
what do they know? What does everybody else really love?
Sometimes people don't want to hear a crazy changed jazzed up version of a song, or someone shred on the piano. There's a select group of people.
Wait, give me 1 sec. One of the cameras.
No problem.
Shut off.
No problem.
Calling all gas stations, 24-hour convenience stores, and smoke shops in the California and Florida area. Right now, times are tough, and we at TYSO are big on not leaving the house, obviously. So this advertisement is to plant a seed for when quarantine is over, and you're interested in making some extra monthly cash with a Coin Bros Bitcoin ATM in your venue. Here's how it works. Hello?
Hey, Rick, did you know the Coin Bros will place a stylish, easy-to-use Bitcoin ATM in your venue and pay you monthly rent to host?
Yeah, the Coin Bros literally takes care of everything, and it makes it easy for you to increase foot traffic and earn extra monthly passive income.
Doesn't the Coin Bros also reward successful referrals?
Yeah. If you connect a location that agrees to host one of your ATMs, you get compensated. Visit thecoinbros.com and fill out, hold on, try that again. Visit thecoinbros.com and fill out their contact form, or simply call their 24-hour customer service for more details.
For more details.
All right, yeah. What is that? Why you called?
Yeah.
All right, back to the podcast.
Sounds good.
I forgot to tell you at the beginning. Every 10 minutes or so, I look over just to make sure the red dot's still on. I'm not bored or anything. And I just saw one of them turned off, but all good. Normally I remember where we are for the edit, but maybe I'll just keep all that shit in. We were talking about karaoke, jazzy shit. And then not everybody likes that.
So I mean, I think people. How do I word this? American Idol is I'm finding it, I'm searching, I'm digging. It's a singing competition, you know. It's really about what you can do with your voice. It's really cool that American Idol is definitely the singing show that artistry is encouraged, and you find very unique people on the show. Just from this season, I think about everyone. I'm like, oh wow, really, what a cool group of people. But again, I think people do like to see you move your hands and you kind of work a tune a little bit, you know, instead of just playing the piano and not being able to emote as well. There are people that can kill that. I didn't think I could do that with Billy Joel, so that's why I was like, you know what?
I was talking with Jackie Tone, who I said was on this. I think it was season 8 or something. It was a bit ago, and in her season, not until the top 10 were you allowed to use instruments, and how different that is now, because it really helps let singer-songwriters shine. You and Sophia Wackerman, I don't remember what it is now.
James.
Johnny West.
Yeah.
And I also really like the reggae guy, and I don't remember his name. Arthur, which it's something with a D. It was that's not his real name. I remember. Debesh, thank you.
Debesh, yes.
Are my favorites, and maybe Debesh's, I don't know, but the other 3 you included are singer-songwriters. And it's funny to me that you think that people want to see. I could give a fuck, unless you're Beyonce. Which, by the way, to the Queen, shout out to Beyonce. Would love to have you on the podcast. Who gives a fuck if you're doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like seeing people, whatever their element is.
Exactly.
Which I don't know what yours is, but I was digging seeing you on the piano. Just into that. So.
I think it's more about, you got to know when you should play the piano and when you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You could really mess up a moment by saying, I need to sit behind the piano for this, when it's just not that kind of vibe, you know?
I guess I believe you. I can't quite understand that, but I believe you.
I
don't want to see Ed Sheeran holding onto a thing without a guitar. I want to see him playing.
I feel that.
I don't want to see Billy Joel get up halfway through and then start fucking, you know what I mean, dancing. So I don't.
I think it's personally. It's when I play an instrument, I just spend so much of my time playing an instrument when I'm singing my songs. I just associate that with again, I'm still growing in that way, where soon, hopefully, I'll be just as comfortable delivering a performance on as strong as a performance of an original at just on my instrument, you know? As I'm that'd be cool. Play it backwards, maybe.
I really want to show a clip of you playing, and I don't know what I'm allowed to show, which belongs to American Idol. And we were talking before, and there was no way of getting this hookup to your piano, but I almost I'll probably put something in if I could just steal it from your Instagram or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's so cool watching people who are not piano, like there's piano players who could sing, there's singers who could play the piano, and for you to be able to do both so well, this isn't, I mean, this is just I guess a compliment or an observation. It's just great, and I want people to be able to see it.
Thank you.
We got away from, though, and that's my fault most likely. If not, you fucked up big time. Where we talk about
classic.
What you learned each step of the way, and you pushed. And the first time to the producers, it was the confidence in doing an original. What was it in the Hollywood round?
Hollywood round was more. That was just more me thinking naturally, where I'd be like, "Peace out," like too much. I've reached my boiling point.
Too much what?
Pressure, too much competitiveness, too much.
Could you expand on pressure? Like, is it that you don't belong there, or that you didn't like it?
Yes, absolutely. For a while, I was like, "What am I doing here?" Like, Julia, like, this is just so left field for you. Like, look at these people. That's truthfully what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, "Wow!" Like, the first day there was like 200 people there in this humongous room, giant room. Just filled, and like people were like singing in circles and like doing like cheerleading dances, and I was just sitting there like a weirdo in the corner, like what is going on?
What do you mean weirdo? Weirdo because you're not as good as them?
Weird. Well, I just had these people were just so filled with personality, like. You can tell, like, these people want to be, like, they wanted to, it seemed like it's been a goal of theirs for so long, like, to be on American Idol, you know? They were, like, cheering in circles and, like, doing dances and, like, networking, and I was just like, whoa, like, this is a whole different world, and I was so overwhelmed by the different world that I was actually in, you know? It's like, this is what, like, talk about competition and talk about, like, having to deal with all these elements. And I really, like, wimped out the first couple of days. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, holy cannoli. I was like, this is nutty. But then I remember, like, after that last day, when it went from 200 people in the room to 40 people in the room, and I just looked around and I was like, wow, like, you know, I got through that and I'm here. Like, you know, I'm gonna take that lesson and apply it to the rest of the competition. And then Hawaii... the cool thing about American Idols, you can pick a bunch of, like, everything's up to you. Like, it really, really is. Like, you
song
have
selection,
full
selection, they'll let you sing anything.
Everything. Anything that's cleared, absolutely. You have a full, like,
Are
full
most
reign.
things cleared?
Yeah. I mean, like, some of the bangers aren't, which is, like, unfortunate, but, like... I mean, it's probably best if I, like, don't sing Journey, to be honest. Even though I love that. I wish.
Didn't somebody sing Journey last night?
Yes! Johnny would be able to sing Journey, a little Johnny head.
And you're not allowed to?
I guess I didn't ask. There's a list that are, like, artists that usually don't clear.
Gotcha.
But Johnny, yeah, I mean.
Great performance, by the way.
Yeah, he killed it.
Yeah.
He does that so effortlessly. It's makes me green with envy.
Okay.
But so in Hawaii, I was literally about to say I rolled up. I rolled up with 3 song choices. Sorry, I'm whatever. Yeah, I was there with 3 song choices, and the producers had a favorite, the vocal coaches had another favorite, and I had another favorite. So the executive producers are here saying, we want you to do this song. The vocal coaches are like, you don't know how good you sound on this song. And then I'm like, but I really want to do this song, which is Glitter in the Air.
It's ultimately your decision, though.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yes.
And which one did you go with?
Glitter in the Air, the song that I wanted to do. So there, again, I was like, wapa.
Did you feel that this was your instinct from the beginning and it worked out for you, so now I'm going to do it again, I'm going to trust myself? Or is it just
weird.
that one song just isolated you felt was best?
It was almost like I had to relearn that lesson all over again to really believe it, because I was so shaken up. I was like, oh my gosh, this is hard. When the people that run the show are suggesting a song, you want to go with that one naturally. It's like, oh, is this them being like nudge nudge? You never know. But I was like, I feel like I can perform Glitter in the Air the best, and it had such a good reaction. Katie stood in the I remember just being, that was probably the best day of my life, no joke, when it was the judgment day to send people into the top 20. Luke Bryan said something about the Grammys, like, this girl, get this girl a hit single and she'll be on the Grammys. I just remember being like, what the hell is happening? And that's really when I was talking about the confidence thing before. Mm-hmm. That's really when it started to like kick in. I was like, shit, like, I can do that.
What do I know as a performer and as somebody who is not the most successful person in the world? But one of the things that I have learned that I trust and that I know so much is off of you saying that the executive producers and the vocal coaches told you that this is what's best. Even if that is a song that can connect to the audience better, or if it's a song that whatever else reasons why they think it's best, the thing that you, the performer, or connect to the most is the best version of yourself. So like being on a show where they have a joke a certain way, if I could tell it a little different, that it doesn't make a difference, or they want it this way, but I think it's funnier, which is subjective and means nothing. But if my energy could do it better, then that will always, in like a selfish way almost, like I just am better at when I trust myself. So I just think that's, I think if that's a lesson that you had to relearn, it's something that will maybe just become, oh, right, if I think this is good, then it's the right answer, because nobody's right.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, again, I hope to get to a point where if someone tells me to sing a song and I have to sing it, I still want to make people believe that I wanted to sing that, you know?
Yeah,
I'm going to be put in situations
sometimes.
like that. It is. Like, I'm going to be put in situations like that where I have to act like that was my number one song ever to sing.
I think I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I picked Glitter in the Air because I was like, oh, you know what? I think I can make people believe this the best. So I'm not going to take those suggestions, and I'm just going to do this because I think, you know, in order to tell a story, like, this is the one I feel like I can do. I feel like I can do it with.
Sometimes as an artist of whatever kind you are, this is the dream, and this is what inspires you, and this is what you've been practicing, and you love doing it. Is this really a job? But that inspiration only is there when it's there. I liken it to, I remember when my mom told me, I'm a kid at this point, about her relationship with my dad, and just love comes and goes, but marry your best friend. And she never meant like you love somebody and then it goes away. It was just that like this chemical feeling isn't always there. And I liken it to this because I moved out to Los Angeles, and I'm working at a restaurant, and I do a couple of commercials. I go up on stage at the Hollywood Improv, and Bill Lawrence, who gave me my first job, saw me, put me in a show. Like this idea of you move to LA, you go up at the Hollywood Improv, and then you make it. Like, that's not a real thing. And that kind of happened, relatively speaking. And this whole process, this is a dream, and this is what I want. And then I go to Warner Brothers, and I have my name on the my own parking spot, spray painted. And there's cool. I don't know if you know Animaniacs if you're too young, but the Animaniacs water tower is there. And it's like, fuck me, I've made it, right? And then a couple weeks in, my ego gets in the way. I don't like my jokes. I'm not getting as much time, screen time as my, up to that moment, my peers, my friends who booked the show with me. And at the time, and I've talked about this in other podcasts, but at the time I didn't remember that like this is a job. And I was so used to loving every part of it that when there was something that was an obstacle, I didn't appreciate it. That's kind of put over here, but that same psychology of like, sometimes you have to do a song like you were saying that you may not want to do. And that was making me think of what makes a great stand-up comedian, where this is probably my biggest struggle, is if I don't think something's funny, meaning I told it already, I'm not in the mood, whatever it is, I have a hard time connecting to it. And the people that are successful and are great, like you said, are able to, even if they don't want to do this joke, they could still do it at a 10. And for me, I need to find some type of a cheat to connect to something. Is that something for you with a song that you figured out any tricks that if you don't want to sing it, that you think will help you be able to not let the audience, know that?
Yeah. I always go back to the storytelling element of it. Like, somebody wrote this song because they wanted a message to be across. You know, and then you're like, okay, well, like, it's not just about me. Like, it's about the person that wrote this tune. It's about what they had to say, you know, so it's also my job.
Do you think that's always the case? I mean, there are so many songs that there's no way the person they filled in the beep bop boop with words, you know, and it's not that deep. So
Yeah, but I think you have to. That's the trick. I think you got to think about it like it's deep. You know.
Yeah,
you
maybe.
have to think about it. You got to think about it like somebody hears that. Even though if it could just be me like being like, rub tub dub is squeak a scrub,
which is good.
Somebody,
So you're not making my
yes.
point.
Yeah, but wait. Somebody could hear that and go, wow, like that is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. You know, like someone might think of that song as like life changing. You know what I'm saying? So like, you almost have to sing it.
Yeah.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm picking it up.
Like,
I can't connect to it though. It seems like if I can't connect to something, I can't really empathize with somebody else who can, and that's a weakness of mine, I guess. But I can't quite connect to that.
I like how aware you are. It's very,
Thank you.
Yes.
Jackie told me that her first audition round was New York State of Mind. And she said she was going to sing it, and they told her, why would you sing that song? And then you do it, and she even told me this today. And she said that, well, she didn't say that. I mean, we saw that they were just, oh, yes, what a song to pick. So, I mean, nothing is real. There's just somebody who has an opinion. Maybe somebody's wife had a crush on Billy Joel and they were jealous or whatever the fuck it was.
It could be. I mean, but for real, though, it is because they were extra. The theme is home.
Right.
New York is going through an especially difficult time. I know the whole nation is, but there's a lot of like crazy shit happening here. So, I mean, it could be just circumstantial, too. Like, this is like an anthem of New York, you know.
Were you thinking about that? Were you? And this is a tough question, and
yeah.
But like,
I'll answer completely candidly.
You are. I'm assuming you should be when performing in a little bit of a selfish, and I don't mean that in the bad way. Selfish. I mean literally in thinking about yourself, your performance mode. Not only are you performing to a big audience, you're also in a competition. But at the same time, it's like New York, and we're fighting for you. Is there really a moment where you're singing this and you're thinking, this one's for you, New York? Or is it more like a story that connects? I need to think of something that's home. New York is having a good time. And I'm sorry if that's a shitty question. I'm just thinking.
No, it's not. And honestly, like 100% being real, it definitely was like, I can't wait for New York to hear it. Because I just know my family is like, Billy Joel is like,
I know.
We just freaking love Billy Joel. So, and everyone here does. It's just like a thing. It's like part of being from New York. Like, you just love Billy Joel. And I was excited. I knew people from New York would just have this pride and like be so hyped when they heard this song. And it being, and like talking about the pandemic, like before it really wasn't a selfish motive in that sense. And I know it sounds like I would never admit that, but like, it really was me more excited about like, wow, like people are really gonna dig this. I want to live here.
I want to expand on that selfish thing of it because it's not really what I meant. It's like their reality TV, American Idol included, rightfully so, is looking for the story. They're looking for something that could play on people's heartstrings. And if somebody lost a loved one or has something that they connect to something or knows an artist, has a relationship, they want to, in a negative way, exploit it and in a more political way, tap into it, right? So when you're told home, you have to think of something home. Yeah. You know, like, were there other choices that they told you, like they did for when you picked Glitter, that they liked this better? Were there recommendations that they sent you beforehand for you to pick from?
So that was really the last round where that whole like recommendation thing happened. Like, for that round, like I tried a few things. Like I really did try a couple other songs, and I just wasn't feeling it, you know? Like I was trying, like there was just such like generic moments where I was like, I don't think of home when I'm singing freaking this or that. You know what I mean? I can't remember. But then, of course, I think of home when I'm singing New York State of Mind. So, I mean, I pushed for it. Like, I was really excited about it. And they were just like, go for it. Like,
do you check in with your parents?
This could be cool.
What's your relationship like with them?
Oh, I'm here. I'm literally here with them. My camera woman is my mother.
Have they been, you're not Jewish. But you're from New York, so what's the difference, you know? And you have this vibe of that thing and that family thing. My mom was applauding me since forever. I came to LA thinking I'm the best, to find out that not everybody thinks this way. I'm curious what your relationship is, and especially you're at home and you have your mom being literally a fan of yours and supportive. If I ask, my mom gives me advice of, Ricky, you should play the piano on stage and you should do dancing on stage and these things. Like, okay, thank you for loving me, but I'm not gonna. No, you know what I mean? Is that what you have with your mom, or does your mom do you look to her for perspective that maybe you can't see the forest through the trees?
Well, it's never. I never need to ask. Let's put it that way.
For what? For love?
I never need to ask for love or input. Just like neither are. It's all given right when she sees fit, and a very honest woman.
Yeah, so
she keeps me humble. She keeps me humble. She keeps me on my toes. That one.
So you trust her opinion.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And sometimes that's why I was like, for New York State of Mind, when I was so like iffy about how it went, I was like, please, like, if you're gonna rip me apart, like, you gotta prepare me for what the judges might say. And she was like,
I have to. My mom watches a lot of these. Mom, I trust your opinions and I love everything you have to say. It's just that, you're an easy audience is all I was getting at. So shout out to my mom, and we'll be right back with a word from Marshall Rug Gallery. So make the right choice and visit Marshall Carpet One and Rug Gallery. And we promise, with more than 50 years as a family-owned business, we've got you covered.
And we're back. So yeah, my mother is an aggressive, honest, loving softie. Ooh, that's a good combo right there. Badass softie. That's what my mom is.
And your dad?
My dad is also a badass softie. We live very close. My mom and dad live very close. They're not together.
Has he been part of this experience with the quarantine stuff?
Not as much, just because of quarantine. They're really strict on all things quarantine. They're very, what's the word? They police it. American Idol, which is cool. But
what's the relationship with your mom and your dad? And feel free to not talk about this with me. I think you just gave me enough. Gotcha.
I was like...
But they live so close? That's got to be interesting for you. How old were you when they were separated?
2.
You grew up with it?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I don't remember, this isn't like... It's just, like, interesting, actually. It's not even, like, a sappy or, like, I'm like, meh. Like, I've never had a dinner with both of them. Like, it's just never been a thing in my brain. Like, never. Like... I can't remember. Just, like,
do you have siblings? I don't remember seeing
I do. I have one sibling from my mom and dad. So, like, I have one brother from both my parents, but then they got remarried. I have a stepbrother. I have a half-brother. I have a half-sister.
Did your brother and you grow up with your mom?
We went back and forth because, again, it was a skip and a hop. It was just like a...
What is back and forth? Is it weekends, weekdays? Is it every 2 days?
Yeah, so it's weekends and 1 day a week. I forget. We used to be on a schedule. It was like 3 times a week, basically. It was like almost even. But
you and your brother always together, so you and your brother continued.
Yes, until we were about, like, I don't know, 15, 16.
So you had 2 rooms. You had 2 sets of clothes. Did you bring clothes back and forth?
I usually would pack like a bag. Yeah, basically my whole life. I mean, I had clothes at both houses, obviously. My rooms, like, I wanted to fill it with my own stuff. But, yeah, for the most part, I just, like...
Did that play into...
Packed a bag.
Did that play into anything about you and your songwriting? Do you draw from that at all?
Oh, 100%. And, like, again, I've never... It's always been rare in my... in my childhood to be like, meh, like, and it's much more, I can imagine being like older and having your parents be divorced and it being hard, like in a much more difficult situation. But since I was so young, the actual divorce never played a part in my writing, but all the other crazy shit that families just have from divorce and that shit. Like, I relied on songwriting very heavily in times like that because, when your parents are fighting, you don't really want to, like, go to either of them. It's just, like, you want to stay out of it. So I would just, like, always...
Is it fair to assume your brother's younger than you?
My brother's older than me. My brother's 24. I'm 22.
I find that younger siblings want to have more attention, and that was my guess at you not feeling like you wanted to be a performer as much as a writer. And
Yeah.
is he musical?
He's a golfer. So there's a musician and a golfer in this.
Well, how does this work?
Gargano
How does this
choir.
work when you are going to audition? Does your mom go with you? Do your parents not go together?
They usually, again, this is like my only audition I've ever had. I'm not even gonna lie. Like if you're talking about shows and like that kind of thing, they'll be in the same room. They'll be socially distancing in the same room.
Is that like I guess it doesn't. I guess it is. You grew up with that. I'm just curious of like, is there any politics that you have to play as a performer? Like when my parents come to a show, I have at this point it's known, but for years I would have to say the same thing, which is, first, I can't have you in one of the first 4 rows. I can't see you guys. That's just a me thing. But also, when my mom wants, if I'm coming home to Cleveland, she wants like all of her friends to come out to stuff. And for a while, I would say I don't want that. But now it's like, yeah, that's totally fine. I don't need to try and control everything. But what I would like is for you to let them know beforehand, if they can't find the door for whatever reason, not to text me about it. Don't, like some people, I'm here as if like I need to be their host. And also, if you see me before the show, I'm not trying to like, you can't kibitz with me. And also, after the show, I don't want to feel any obligation to hug and to talk about how everything is. So,
interesting.
So when have your family there, but it's 2 separate things, is there ever a you being like trying to, make them happy, not give more attention to mom instead of dad? What is that like?
Oh, yeah, that's basically, and again, even if there was no direct stressor from either of them, I've always been extremely, and maybe this is like a deep-rooted problem from the whole thing, but I'm just very anxious. Like I do have.
When they're both around?
Just in general. Like I'm always trying to just make sure everything is like nobody feels uncomfortable, even though I'm the one that actually is like freaking out on the inside.
I'm sorry. I'm just not quite understanding. You're saying in general, not just with your parents. You're saying You're saying in general,
Gotcha. In general, I worry I have very. Now it's getting better actually with the whole show, but I'm a very anxious human. I try not to say I am anything because I think it makes me believe it that much more. You know what I'm saying? Like if I say I am anxious, that's like completely branding myself as anxious. So that's a bad habit. But
how would you word it better then?
I used to get nervous a lot about things. Like I used to be really worried often that people like were uncomfortable and it would make me uncomfortable. That's a good way to word it.
Would it worry you as much if they were uncomfortable but it had nothing to do with you? Like were you empathizing with their uncomfort, or were you feeling like I made a mistake, I made people uncomfortable?
When I was younger, I felt that way. When I was younger, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like
it's your fault."
Basically, or especially maybe not like, or this is unfortunate that it has to come to this like when it's based around me. Does that make sense? Mm-mm. Like that I have to cause.
Oh, that you felt that you had to cause it.
Yes, like that I am causing a stressful situation, and it is very distracting when you're trying to like perform, and you just have to like keep darting your eyes around to make sure like no one's giving anyone dirty looks or making other people feel uncomfortable in the room. It's always been a big distraction. I mean, as I get older and as it gets more serious, and it's part of my career and how people can perceive me in the audience with my family. I'm definitely more stern about it. I'm definitely, because again, there's always like, like, how do I word this? There's always a nervousness about one of the 2 most important people in your life feeling, left out or feeling underappreciated, and that's something I worried about for a long time.
How does American Idol change that?
It's really it's difficult, you know, like you can submit footage of everyone in your family and they have ultimate say of who gets shown. So I talk to a lot of contestants and it's
Yeah.
people just have to deal.
I feel that's kind of like a microcosm of perception in general. Like, it's more tangible to recognize that you could submit everything evenly and kindly to American Idol, but then it's out of your control on what they choose. And
Of course.
I don't want to get deep into it, but a few years ago, something happened in my life that brought a lot of awareness to me and kind of changed the way I see a lot of things. And that point from before to after, the difference was that awareness, right? And before it, I used to just be kind of oblivious to how people felt. And then after it, I became hypersensitive to it. And only recently and it put me in a big depression. And I need to check in with everybody and make sure, am I making you uncomfortable? Is this okay? And it was exhausting at the least, but also just nothing was worth it anymore. It's not worth making mistakes. And then coming out of that, what I realized is that moment before and after had the same thing in common, which was I thought everybody loved me. I found out that I was the most annoying person and nobody wanted me around. And the truth was I couldn't control either of those things. And neither of them were real. Just it is what it is. And it made it easier, not easy, for me to relinquish control and just it is what it is. And you saying that American Idol can now choose and it's out of your control makes it easier for you. And I guess maybe I'm just talking
Doesn't
like
really make it easier.
it doesn't make it easier.
No, not at all.
But there's nothing you could control.
Yes, but that's what's more frustrating when people don't understand it. It's almost
what people don't understand it.
I mean, I'm gonna get an angry mob outside my house if I name anyone specific, but some.
Okay, Brian doesn't understand it. Okay.
Okay, I'll say yes.
Okay, so Brian doesn't understand why wasn't there more footage of me? How is that any of your control? It is what it is.
But that's the difficult part where it not being in your control. There's nothing you can fix to solve the issue, and some people and when people are a certain way where they won't stop complaining until the issue is fixed and you can't fix it, it's almost never ending compared to if it was my decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm speaking directly to, and what I could connect most with is your own feelings and the world through your eyes, right? Now, if Brian is going to be upset, that sucks. We love Brian. I want Brian to always be happy. But it's out of my control. And for me, things being out of my control is oftentimes not, I can't fix it, but the opposite, which is how freeing. There's nothing I could do, so it doesn't need to be in my mind anymore. I can't.
True.
Listen, the pandemic is happening, right? And it sucks, and it's going to go in and out. I can't leave my house, so I don't relatively speaking, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
So I don't wake up thinking, how could I fix this? I mean, some people need to be, but I'm not the guy who's going to figure out the fucking thing to fix this.
Yeah.
So I just wake up at 3 and I ask if you want a podcast, and shit's just easier. So when Brian needs to have X, Y, and Z, how does his anxiety and his frustration with the situation not being fixed I don't mean to solicit. This is my thoughts in this. This doesn't need to affect you. Hey, Brian, I know, man, that sucks. Too bad they didn't use any of that stuff. Could you do me a favor? I'm trying to focus on this other stuff. We got to stop.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. It's talk about triple tasking during this all. It's you're doing the American Idol show, which is it really again totally rewarding, but man, is it a lot of hours, a lot of work, a lot of anxiety, a lot of wow, can I do this anymore? Okay, yes, I'll do it. We're so close. You got this far. A lot of that feeling. It's a very big stressor on its own. And then having to do the whole, it's okay, Brian, I don't know what else I can do. You know what I mean? It really all just explodes. And then knowing that I'm not handing in one freaking college assignment since March 9th.
Oh, you still doing classes right now?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, that's got to be
Yeah.
so... I'm so fucking stressed out with this podcast. That has to be crazy.
It's nutty. I mean, going is a strong word.
Going
to these classes. Right. Strong word.
Still having obligation to them, though.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of teachers have been really chill because I go to school for this. Like they're hyped that I'm like doing it in the field. Like one teacher was like, Julia, you get an A because you are doing what we are teaching you to do.
Who's the teacher?
Sister Marianne Nelson.
Shout out to Sister Marianne Nelson. We'll put her Instagram handle up here.
Yes. Anywho, like she's just like, come talk to the class about your experience, and like
cool.
It's really cool. But then I do have other teachers, like I fully understand, like they're lenient in their own ways, but I have to make up like a ridiculous amount of assignments to.
Dude, fuck that, man. You're doing the thing. I remember when I studied marketing and theater in college, and I remember there was a class. There was a acting for the camera 1 and 2. I took both of them because I needed to know how to act for the camera. And I remember my teacher was talking about this thing that he had done in Hollywood and part of Shawshank Redemption, right? Which is, come on, it's the movie. And whoa, this guy was associated with that. And he had like this tiny little role in it. And I remember thinking how amazing, and this is the guy. Cut to me being out here and like having, I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell you, I had dinner with Tim Robbins once, okay? I was with the Shawshank Redemption guy. And just the perspective of, oh, this guy was teaching what he knew, which is great and valid.
Yeah.
But like, if I were ever in that class and he's like, you need to do this monologue from Shawshank Redemption. But I was like, but if I do that, I won't be able to go have dinner with Tim Robbins. And he said tough shit. I would say, you're out of your mind, dude. I'm going to go make it in showbiz, baby. I'm going to start a podcast, and I'm going to talk to American Idol people. So anyway, that just gets me a little, if this...
It's interesting.
School sucks, dude. It's so dumb a lot of the time.
It's a lot of the time. A lot of the time, it's especially. I mean, yeah, it's cool. Like you get to like live on your own for a couple years. Like you meet your friends. Like great. But the fact that I am, again, doing what I am going for,
of course,
and it's like
they should give you every situation to thrive and to make that school look good that you're part of it.
And they've been like really, really supportive, really cool. But then it's just like some have different levels of coolness, Some have different levels of like, oh, okay, I'll give you a way extended deadline, but you gotta hand it in. And it's like, okay, but like it's gonna have to be, like who knows what the next couple weeks are. I graduate. I'm supposed to imaginary walk down the commencement line in 4 days.
When do you so you are you recorded the top 20 top 10 11 and then they're going to narrow it down to the top 7, but America doesn't know until they watch on Sunday and they go blah 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 and then they perform. Did all of you guys play the performance already and they only aired the ones that made it?
See, this is the part I don't know if I can share.
Okay, well let's change everything that we're saying to, well, instead of saying American Idol, we'll say Brian, and instead of performance, we'll say homework assignment. And
is the part of you explaining the key words going to be in the podcast?
This is all going to be in the podcast.
So then if people know the words that are being switched out, that's still me telling it, is it not?
I'm going to keep this part up explaining what the variables mean so people know that there are rules to it, but I will bleep what the variables actually are. So we won't know what is what.
I feel like most people are intelligent.
I have to tell you something. And I love my fans. Thank you so much. Almost, I want to say everyone, but I can't. So I will say almost everybody is an idiot.
How about I say this? How about I say everybody always prepares for the next round?
See? Perfect. And then may I say what I take from that, and you don't have to agree?
Okay.
Because what that means is, okay, so
I have
everybody...
a telling face.
Everybody sings the song and performs a song, but they only show the ones that make it. Maybe. Great. So now, have you recorded or prepared for the next performance yet?
You're making it. Okay, so wait. I'm answering the question: is have I prepared for
the next performance?
Everyone has prepared
already for the next one. It's already been prepared.
You're making it like if you're saying like prepared.
I'll bleep
so
out
I'll
bleep out the finger quotes. I'll green screen these into middle fingers.
Everybody in the top 11 has prepared for the next round.
So you now for the rest of the week, you don't have to worry about that. Now you're just sitting back and seeing what happens.
No. There's tons of work to be done.
What has to be done? You can't tell me?
Rick sitting on the couch on Sunday night, checking it out. That's what has to be done.
Okay.
Yeah, you heard it here first. And is that a Yoda on your left?
No, I have a so
I need to know.
It's a goblin.
Does he have 2 teeth on either side?
Oh yeah. He has 1 tooth on both sides. So 2 teeth total. TTT.
Got it. TTT.
I had years ago
His cute ears.
I came up with this when fan army names were starting, like the Biebers, Beliebers, or whatever it is. I came up with Glassman boppers, making a joke like, these are what everyone needs to have one of these. And then when I started a podcast, everybody has like names for their things. Like Dax has his armchairies, and everybody has like a cutesy name. So I'm like, my TYSO goblins, joking. And then it kind of, when I say took off, like who the fuck am I? But like within the podcast stuff, it kind of like people were connecting to the goblin stuff, and he's become mascot kind of. And my girlfriend got me this disgusting homemade looking, it came in a box that looked like, if I didn't have time to mail it, this is how I would mail it. It was just a box that was used for something else and just tape over it. And there was something about it, like, I don't know what gross little fingers were on this, But I kept it out and I let it air out for like 2 weeks. And then Betty said, just have it on. It'll be like a little thing. So I put it there. And I never even let one of my glasses touch it. So I don't think it's dirty at this point, but there's something about them. There you go. The stitching, it just looks like you know what it looks like? It looks like I made it. And
it gives a character one, and I think it's also like it looks like he looks like he needs a bath. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I said to her. What do you want me to do with this? This was night 1 of Hanukkah gift. What she did very well. Betty, you did lots of great gifts. But like, what am I going to do with this little rat doll? But he's now part of the podcast, and if you want to get a goblin sweater, you could go to rickglassman.com. Promo code, no disrespect, boobs. And there's something else we were talking about, the performance getting ready. There's something I wanted to ask you also, but I'll ask you again after. I would like your help I want to talk to Sophia and Johnny West. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I told you that Sophia.
Yeah, I messaged Sophia. She said yeah, but then I asked a date, and she didn't respond. And I get a little. If I don't know somebody, I can't be the person that's like, come on, because then during the podcast, I'm going to be so. If you feel like you're doing me a favor, I'm going to be hot the whole time, so I can't deal with that.
I feel you.
But
I do.
Reach out. You send him a message.
So I'll do that.
You'll send a message.
I'll be in the hot seats. Got it. On it.
Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk to you about. This isn't going to happen, but I am sure this is the way that this should be happening. If I were an American Idol and I were doing what you guys are doing, I would need to take advantage. I was going to say better, and I mean better, but I'll say differently than what everybody is doing now. You're in a situation where you are in complete control of what happens. Now, finding out it's prepared and not as live as they may have thought it was, it changes my opinion on it a little bit. But like, I'm seeing people in their living rooms, and some people are putting up crates in their bedroom, and it's like, that's not what your bedroom looks like, guy. You're not tricking anybody. Like when she turned the garage into like a set with the rugs and the lamps, I was like, cool. You're not pretending that this is in a garage. We're just changing it. But I'm not in love with some of these sets. Okay, now who am I? Right? I'm the Goblin King. But
Yes.
have some fucking, do some fun stuff. Do some fun stuff, like be in the living room, right? Be in the living room, and halfway through the performance, somebody needs to go sit on a chair and start reading from the newspaper, and nobody acknowledges it, you know? Or when there's windows outside, have people outside.
That sounds great.
Have people, do something like that, where every week people want to see the next thing. Obviously, you can't have people fucking in the windows, but how funny would it be if, like, in the background, kind of small, there's just people making out or whatever, or like having their shirt off and doing monster curls, and they'll want to get their veins tight. They're going to be excited about being on TV. Use the room.
Yeah.
Have people cross. Have people cross. Have people cross in front of you. Why aren't we taking advantage of this?
Oh my gosh.
What is your opinion on that?
Okay, well, again, this is what I was saying before. There are creative people
Guilty.
out there, like yourself,
Guilty.
who are looking for a lot of creativity from people and from the sets. So when that's what I was kind of saying, like a lot of, people
don't all like jazzy.
Like,
everybody likes a jazzy chord. Let me tell you something.
Everybody likes a jazzy chord.
Everybody likes a jazzy chord, and everybody likes Billy Joel. This isn't a New York thing.
Everybody likes jazzy chords and likes Billy Joel. I agree.
And everybody likes bits. Trust me, watch this. I'll probably put like cartoon dicks or something there. It'll play.
Yes, I love those. That was the last one I watched of yours. It was genius.
So what are you saying? Not who wouldn't like this?
There's two groups of people. There are people like you and I.
The audience that you
in the
want.
same category. Yes, which is great, but not many. I don't know. I feel like there's people that like love that creative, but then there's people that just love a person that stands there and sings their favorite song.
I'm gonna bring up the Queen again, okay? Beyonce, I'm gonna constantly listen to her CDs, but seeing her live, it isn't because she's standing there doing this. She's doing a thing. Now, my version of it would be the silly people fucking in the background or whatever the thing is. I don't literally mean these are the jokes that have to be done, but taking advantage of the fact that, let me step back even further. My first time watching the first episode of it, so the top 20, I'm watching people, and they all look good. Everybody on the show is beautiful. Okay, everybody is the prettiest person, and blah 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 blah. But also, like, when there are people, girls in particular, because this is what we live in, a society that treats women, I hate it. I can't stand it. It's a double standard. But women dress up and put on makeup and they do the thing. And women should be paid more. Women should be paid the most. I'll say it here first.
Women should be paid the most.
And if you don't like that, then you don't like jazzy chords, and I don't want you listening. But also, you're at home on your deck, okay? You're in your living room, and you're wearing the gold dress and the lipstick and the makeup like you're fucking at the Vanity Fair, whatever the thing is that would be that I can't really draw from. You're in your living room, guys, girls.
Yeah.
So, why are you pretending you're on stage? And if that logic makes sense, then the other version is, instead of pretending you're here, lean into being here. I would love, bad version, but the same idea of it is, if we're in your bedroom, before the performance, when you're talking to people, you're in bed. Here's a silly version, silly, stupid version, but you're in bed, you just woke up, and you have to walk over to the piano and do it. Even that is like, oh, she's taking advantage of being in the room. If you could frame it, if you're in your living room and you have people in the back cooking food and flipping flapjacks or whatever, and at the end have you come try it. Again, silly version. Sorry, I think the coffee just kicked in. But like, there's so many fun things to do.
Okay. But then are you only limiting yourself to songs that could benefit from that scene? Like, are you, if it's freaking...
No, this isn't a score. You're not scoring it.
But if I'm singing, I don't know, At Last, and I have someone cooking pancakes in the background...
Hysterical.
It's going to be funny. Okay. But does that mean but then it would be a comedy show.
You know what's interesting? People... All right, so you don't know me that well, right? I mean, I'm sure you've looked at all my videos. But
Everyone.
I have a thing that for a while I thought was maybe a handicap of mine, and now I feel it's a strength. I just maybe haven't figured out the best way to execute it. But I'm a stand-up comedian. All of my peers, I think every one of my peers that are still doing it that I started with have multiple comedy specials out and are at a level of success that stand-up wise I haven't even tasted. And they think, right, they're not wrong, but their opinion is when you're a stand-up comedian, it's probably the right opinion. The number one priority is being funny. And then whatever else you could do, right? To me, funny is very, very, very important and necessary. But the number one thing is being believable. And I don't mean telling somebody the truth as much as they believe my performance. I'm not winking to the camera, right? What that is to me, and this is like a religion to me, it isn't about comedy. It isn't about music. You and I are doing the same thing. We're entertaining. We're entertainers, right? And the American Idol stage is a singer show. But like, so are comedians that aren't that funny, that have great voices, that have a special because they're musical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're able to be funny, a good singer, make people cry, make people question, make people change or again, question their original and their core beliefs, you're being an artist, you're doing something. You don't have to have somebody naked flipping pancakes while you're singing a dramatic song every time, but there is something fun and cool and interesting about why not be funny? Why not sing, New York State of Mind and then have your mom who's holding a camera come into the frame, blocking half the frame, and you just like, you don't have to acknowledge it. I don't know. I have a strong opinion on this.
People would be like, you absolute strange woman.
Yeah.
If that.
Okay.
Yes. And listen, and that I'm not.
That's fair.
I'm telling you, I am it's hilarious. It really is. That is something that, to me, would be interesting. Like if I saw that, I would laugh. But on American Idol, people would be like, whoa.
What's a watered down version of it? Like already they have found a way of mixing in the live performance with the home by having the family that wouldn't be holding signs, now they're holding signs. That's, to me, is what I'm talking about. That's a bit. But they don't come in until the end, right? And then they hug.
Yeah.
Is there something where like, you have, they're in the, why not be in your room in the back? Lighter, something. There's got to be something, and
that is funny.
There's got to be some way of taking advantage that you're in your room. I still love the ideas. When I say pajamas, I don't know what you sleep in, but I'm talking like cartoon, the hat that falls down and you have to blow it up, the buttons, like wearing pajamas. I just think like this is, I'm watching this and you're in your fucking house. Do something. I can't tell you names because it's so mean and everyone's doing their thing. But there's a few people that when you're doing it in front of the fireplace or in the living room and like, I know this isn't what your living room looks like. You're putting the candles up. You have the picture of somebody up. I'm out. This is what I was talking about, believability. I don't believe you. I'm done. I'm out. You have to sing that much better because I can't connect with you. So maybe I'm just a silly, goofy, wacky goblin. Sweatshirts, rickglassman.com, promo code boobs. But I like when people are themselves and silly, and I don't believe that every one of these performers is somebody that wants to be at the vanity, that is this. Anyway, I'm overdoing it right now. But what I'm asking is, next time, for the top 5 or whatever it is, have somebody walk through.
There's a lot of like, because the thing is, we even thought it'd be cool. I guess quarantine is like freaking fracking quarantine, man.
What do you mean?
To have like people play with us and like make it more live. You know what I mean? Again, that's what I was scared about, singing to a band that isn't there.
Right.
I was like, whoa.
But you have it in the headsets. That's what you would do in a studio.
Yeah, but like I thought it would be weird to watch a performance of someone just standing and singing with no one back. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a whole different.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It is weird. There needs to be something else.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, again, these are just broad versions that you find. But why not have who else is in your house? Your mom and your brother?
In this house, it's my mom, my stepdad, brother or sister and me.
Great. You have a full band. Why not have them dress up in the same suit or uniform or whatever with, a guitar or whatever that's not plugged in, and having them mime what the thing would be. If you were singing the New York State of Mind and you had, this. The only way this works is if people know the person isn't playing it. If you had like a 5-year-old girl sitting at the piano and her doing this, make something. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I wonder if it's a fairness thing. I wonder if one person had this idea.
Doesn't matter.
This is another issue. I know, but this is another thing that freaked a bunch of people out. It's super easy to outdo someone not vocally. And that's not what the show is.
Yes, it is.
It's like...
Yes, it is. That's why people who are prettier, that's why people who have drug addiction, that's why people who lost a family member, that's why from the beginning, before we know how far they're going to go, they show those stories. It 100% is. They are telling you that, but that is not what it is. They're looking for somebody that can make them money, not just make you a star. They're looking for people that have that, having an amazing voice, being able to sing jazzy notes, whatever the thing may be. It's not just music. There's a reason that people look a certain way. They can't be a certain age.
I 100% agree that about the story thing. I 100% agree that there's a look needed. But so say that's established now, right? There's nothing that can. The stories are there's people who have stories, they've been told. So now if everyone's at the live show, right? So say we were all in LA on the same stage. All being backed by the band, all the effects, blah, 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 blah. You're just kind of on the same playing field. Yes, there might be previous bias because of stories that are told.
But you're not on the stage. You're at home. You're in control.
Yes. So, but then everybody... Then this part gets a little wish-washy where the people that might have a more... I don't want to say creative, but I'm going to say creative, have a little bit more creative ideas and something that could really make this jazzy chord.
A 7, perhaps.
Yes. Ooh, nice. Crunchy. Have
they told you this? Is this your opinion, or have they told you this?
No, this is my opinion. I do think
you're holding
that if someone has a genius idea to make oh my God, this is going to be so funny on television, I think, I guess it could be then now it's part of the game.
Julia, that's what the job is. If you go out and then you're doing a tour and you're doing a live show, you're going to need to find ways of being engaging and different and interesting. That's what your job is. It doesn't start after this. This isn't you putting something down on paper and seeing what other people could do. This is your performance. Now, I'm not saying it needs to be funny. This is just my sensibility.
No, I know
But the idea of not doing something because it's not an even playing field, fuck everybody else. What are you talking? You literally are trying to get to the next. You're so excited when you get picked. You want to get picked. Let's not pretend that isn't the goal. I'm not saying go and give somebody a drink that makes them lose their vocal cords. You're not going to inhibit anybody else's performance, but find the most creative. But this is such a ridiculous thing. It's so not on the level of American Idol, but I spend so much fucking time editing my podcast. So much time putting in cartoon dicks and Snap commercials and silly hats and putting middle fingers instead of air quotes that most people... Nobody would know the difference if I didn't do it. And then if they do see it, they go, oh, cool. I'm doing that because there's so many podcasts out there, and I just want to do mine a little bit different in my voice.
Yeah, of course.
You're doing this in front of a much bigger audience. And I feel, I'm catching myself now, as I was earlier, feeling, I don't know if insecure is the right word, but self-conscious of talking too much and pushing something too much. But this is your opportunity. This is the biggest opportunity that you've had so far, from my understanding of what you've gone through, to showcase not just your voice, but your creativity. And if you think there's people out there who like creative and there's people that don't. No, there are people out there who are creative and have a different appreciation. But even the middle America, standard 9-to-5, not artsy person still likes. They're watching this. They still like that stuff. There's no reason to not. I haven't seen anybody on American Idol right now at home do something, with the exception of, I don't know her name, but the girl who made her garage with the rugs and then the lamps.
Yes, Aliana, yeah.
I thought that was so cool. Like, that was just so cool. There are bigger ways of pushing that and doing that nobody's doing.
So do you think that is how her garage looked?
No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there isn't like an objective difference.
Are you talking about like fake candles? Are you talking about like
I'm saying if you're going to make your living room turn it into a set, turn it into a set. Don't just vacuum and get rid of everything and make it look like MTV Cribs or whatever the shows are. This is not what your fridge looks like. You know what I mean? I don't believe it. But there was
lined up all of the drinks just perfect.
Come on. It's like, I would love to go in that fridge, but you obviously, this isn't. So when I'm watching her in her garage, she's not trying to trick me. I don't think, nobody thinks it was, here's a creative environment where she used her space to her best abilities. Yeah. When you're in your bedroom, and by the way, obviously, I'm a huge fan of yours, and I don't think you need any gimmicks. But when you're in your bedroom and there's this white space behind you and you see the plug, and I know this isn't the frame for the thing, but this is where you're doing it, why not add either in a different room or stuff into that room? And again, none of this is necessary. Nobody's doing it. I'm just watching. Every time I'm watching, I'm stoned out of my mind. But I'm just thinking, there should be fucking things going on. You know what I mean? Like, this is a show. When we do the live show, when America's Got Talent's going on, they got the gold butter and the confetti coming down, and they got people doing flips in the background. They got girls with their boobs out and guys with their abs and all this shit that, for right or wrong, it's like this show. But now I'm in my living room and I can't put on a show. No, now in our living room, and we could put on the show that we've always wanted to put on.
Yes.
I think there's got to be something. And my suggestion, I don't know if this is it, I'm happy to send you a t-shirt that says take your shoes off. I think we should have somebody cross by with a t-shirt, a goblin. I don't know.
I think so. I think we need this goblin to make an appearance. Even if it's just a little a square at the top of the frame right there. Your dirty friend.
Love it. But is there something, not that you're going to do it, but if out of this conversation, is there anything that you could think of that would be something that would be you'd consider for something like that?
Yeah, listen, and as the episodes go, you do kind of learn, you watch it on TV and you're like, oh,
yeah,
like you see what you want changed. I saw that for my very first performance.
What changed from first to second that you saw?
So I'm actually like in my getup right now.
Also, let me just tell, because I didn't before, the people that haven't seen this, there's 3 iPhones. It's set up on a tripod, and there's their mom holding the camera, so I guess there's 4 technically, right? There's 3 on tripods?
No, it's 3 on tripods, but no, she's just like getting the good angles.
3 on the tripods, they're not just static shots. It's there's push-ins and there's push-outs and there's movements, and they make it look like there's camera people there. I just feel that's important to establish. So I'm sorry, go on.
Yes. So I'm actually just like in my little getup now. So this is for New York State of Mind. And like before they were kind of like draped around me, all these candles, and it was again, like it was just a little weird, it was just a little strange to look at. So then I just put I just made it a little more chill. But now what I've been preparing for, I have jazzed it up a little bit.
The set.
Yes.
This will be coming out, by the way, after the performance. So there's no reveals that you're going to be giving.
Oh, anyway. Really?
Yeah, your performance that comes out is Sunday. This episode will probably be coming out Monday.
Nice.
And it's not going to, at the soonest, it's Monday. So there's no reveals that you're giving away.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, it's jazz. It's definitely from New York State of Mind. It's like a completely different level of visual effect, which is dope. Like, we were all like, whoa,
Was it your idea?
No, not even a little bit.
Who told you?
And I was a little nervous. Well, that's the thing. There's creative, there are creative directors that really help. You can put all the input you want in the world. And for New York State of Mind, I kind of gave some stuff, and I was a little freaked out about this next one when I just saw some of the things they wanted to send. And then
what do you mean things they wanted to send?
So they can, if you have an idea, they can send you. They
set
send
you like
supplies.
set deck stuff.
Yes. So whatever, like they can help the image come to life. But this whole the set is really very, very different, very visually pleasing. Like you were saying before, how you're taking something and making it a set, not like this is what my house normally looks like. I wonder. It's definitely going to be a cool difference, and give people really something nice to look at, and not like, all right, fake candle number 7.
So you prepared for it 4 times, and you don't know which preparation they're going to prefer?
Okay, so no, if the thing about let me explain that part real quick. So on shooting day, right? Could
you tell me when shooting day is?
Well, I'm just talking about in general, like shooting day in general. This is how it works. You sit down. I don't know why I included that step.
Well, you have to sit down, but I want to know because I'm curious how much time they have
Yes.
between shooting day to Sunday airing. That's why I asked.
It changes. It really does change often. But your performance that you sing isn't edited. It isn't. You don't like. Again, it's one take, and you're.
Oh, I thought you do 4 takes, and you don't know which take they're using.
No. So that's not how it works. You do 4 takes, but so you have like a little dress run. You do 3 different takes after the dress run. First one, it's just probably like a little pass to make sure everything's working. Then that next take is the one they're using. You can have a brilliant first take and suck on your second take,
Gotcha.
and they're using your second take. So it's not, it's in a sense extremely live. There's no editing.
I understand. Yeah, it's shot live.
Yes, exactly. And they don't pick, you don't pick. It's a set rule. Every contestant, that take is being used. Which is, it's cool. They really kept the integrity of a live performance, which is, easy to not do when you're filming from home and stuff.
Do you see yourself winning this at all?
See, this is hard for me to answer. Absolutely not. To be honest, it's like.
Are there people that you see winning it ahead of you, or you just don't see yourself doing it? Like specific people?
Oh, I see their people.
Who do you see if you don't win it? Who do you see winning it?
Oh, this is. Well, it's also a hard question to answer because it's really easy to go off of social media following and social media. But last episode, 38 million people voted.
38 million votes. I was thinking about, and you're allowed to vote 10 times, so that's 3.8 million people, probably.
Oh, true. Wow. All right. Thank you for being smart.
So 3.8 million people, which is a lot, but the people with the most following on Instagram have in the low 100,000s. So that's not really dictating it. Their Instagram following isn't making it happen.
See, that throws me off. So that it
helps.
Yeah.
But the difference between you at 55 and forgot his name. I really, really like him. The shy guy. He went last time. Starts with an E, I think.
A shy guy.
He's always surprised.
Oh,
he's always surprised.
Are you talking about
Yes.
Francisco?
Yes. And he has low 100,000s or something. That difference between 60,000 people when there's 3.8 million people voting, not to mention that other people are voting for other people, that's not what it is. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and I don't know that. And that's why it's so hard every single time to gauge who... You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, I won't hold you to it. Also, a huge part has to do with people's minds are made up by other people's minds being made up. So if you did the same exact performance that you did, but the judges weren't as goo gaga over you, you would have gotten less votes. Not because of you, but because of that. The story. I remember I was watching a movie. I don't remember what movie it was. I was watching a movie on Netflix, and you could rate it up to 5 stars. And their algorithm is great. It tells you how much you'll like something based on other things you've liked. And I remember I was going to go rate something I watched, and it was all right. And I was going to rate it a 3. And Netflix said that I thought it would be a 4. And I genuinely checked in with myself, and I thought, maybe I actually did like it more. Like, Netflix knows my opinion more than I know my opinion. We're
Yeah.
so into like, and also something that you guys are missing. We're not getting judge reaction shots when we're watching somebody perform, and it cuts to Katy Perry doing this, or Luke doing this, or Lionel doing, or whatever the fuck the judges are doing that show that they like it. We don't know how to feel. We're trained. This is what multicams are with laugh tracks. This is funny. So yes, I agree with that. But knowing what you know now and your opinions on all the factors included, if you had to guess one or two people that could win it other than you, I would love to hear who you think.
This is interesting.
And to make this more, if you're feeling any type of uncomfort, none of this means that you think this person's better than anybody else. This is just in the format that we're in.
I mean, I think Arthur Debesh has stole, like, he's just, people love that guy, rightfully so. He's incredible, but like, something about him, like, he's just making the internet and the world, like, explode, like, I don't know. He's someone that I can definitely. I would not be surprised at all if he took the title. Because he is just so different. He is definitely, even from the first day, he was the only him in the whole competition. And that's really cool. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think there's a bunch of.
I don't agree that he was the only person that was themselves, but I do agree that he was one of them.
No, I'm talking about his kind of artist. Like. That voice. No one else in the had even a similar voice, like, at all. Which is crazy when you have a room when, like, even from Hollywood Week. I remember we had to listen to every single person sing.
Do you get
not one?
It looks like when you're watching you guys are really enjoying, like, people succeeding, and I believe that. But I would also believe that, like, fuck, like. Fuck, like,
I think that about when people get sent home, really. Like, if I believe that, like, one of the most, that part is like, what? You know what I mean? That's the only time.
You care about these people. It does, that would make me feel that you don't look at it as much of a competition as you do just singing.
Well, and I become huge fans of people just because I'm a music lover. And I if there's a person that I would listen to their music and I respect what they do greatly and they get sent home, I'm like, that's what scares me. That's what makes this whole thing so unpredictable. It's like
watching from. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was done with my thought.
My girlfriend lives in London, and she's stuck there now, and it sucks. And I came home, and she was coming to London like less than a month. I mean, coming from London less than a month later, and then this all happened. But when I was there, we were watching American Idol, and you, Sophia, and Johnny West were the three from the beginning that we really liked. And Jackie also, who I told you before, likes you. I saw that she follows you on Instagram. But from the beginning, it was you three. I just wanted to let you know that, and I thought that the top 5 would be you three. I still think that would be the case. But also, there are people who have gone on to success who didn't win, and people who won who didn't go on to that kind of success. And it's almost like once you make it into the top 10, especially the top, like, each level more exponentially more than the next, but winning it is just as valuable as the prize that isn't that sustainable anyway. And
what's funny? I think a lot of that success thing, how you said, like, if you get to the top 10, that's when success can really come your way at any point. You don't have to necessarily win. I also think there's a level of drive that you really have to keep yourself going throughout the competition, that, like, once you get to that point, like, I'm speaking personally, I am, I know it might sound like it's just like a random thought, but I am just, I can't imagine, like, stopping this flow now, because think about it, my first audition was in July last year.
How long between? Tell me those. I want to know. July was your audition. When was Hollywood Week? And then Hawaii.
No. So July was the producer audition, or August. October was my first my Growing Pains. No,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hollywood was December.
So 2 months late. So 2 months later. So 2 months, 2 months, 2
Yes.
months, and then Hawaii was
Hawaii was end of January, early February. Then LA was March, and now here we are in May. Wow, I can't believe that. Like that. See, that blows my mind. Like when we started, this is so crazy. When we started in March, they would be like, "Oh yeah, some of you guys are gonna go to May." And it's like, what? Like, and now it's May, and
Right.
it's like, wow, like. This is nuts, and I just had this moment right now. Like I can't believe it's May 5th, and
What do you do next? Win it or not win it? I know there's a pandemic, but is the plan like touring? Is the plan finding a way of getting your songs to people to listen to you be the
Yes.
writer? How are you going through that? Do you have new representation because of this opportunity? What has already been given to you? Or that's not fair, I guess. What have you earned? But like, what has happened so far from that?
No, nothing right now.
Yeah.
So
Do you have musical
yeah.
representation?
No, right now. Here's the thing.
It's them.
Idol can right now, and they could really pick you up if you want. We all sign contracts. And
Are you
it's
worried
like-
about that? Are you worried about how much control Idol has over you and your brand right now? Have you thought about that?
Of course. Like when, songwriters especially, you're signing a contract, like a publishing deal. It's scary.
Were you able to negotiate it?
Yeah. Idol provides us. It's funny because Idol provides us with a bunch of different lawyers. We all get to pick one collectively as a group that we feel.
Oh, that's weird.
I
That's
know.
a conflict
I
of
know
interest.
it sounds weird. I know
Well,
it sounds
is.
strange.
I mean, they have all the
Yes.
leverage. That sucks.
But it was kind of proven wrong in a way because the guy that we chose to represent us, and we have a lot of the contestants have managers,
And what do you mean everybody picked? Who's everybody? Once you got to the top 20?
The top 20, we all had a meeting and like they pitched themselves to us. But hear me out. So like a lot of the contestants have managers that are extremely successful managers and have really seen a bunch of contracts. So they are also giving their input. It's not like all of us are blindly like, okay, like you're a big smart lawyer, man. Like we are dum-dums like who don't know anything. So we're just going to trust what you say. It's really like they're in our corner, these managers and the lawyer. He was great. But being like, this is terrible. This is standard. How about we get this down where it's kind of shitty, but like this is what the industry is. This is what the contract is. And they really were able to get it to a point where like, oh, we wanted to sign. There's a lot of songwriters this season. I think more than any other season in the past. There's a lot of us. So
what happens if I have a successful musician on as a guest and I show him your episode and one of your songs and like I love it, I want to do it? Do you get to choose? Is that allowed to happen? Do you have to go through now the producers of Idol to clear what your path is? If you have a type of song you want to have, do you get your own creative license on what direction you want to do?
Yeah, so that's the thing that I'm not worried about, creative direction. Like at this, you have to remember too. Like at this point, like I've given myself a brand. I've posted on YouTube. I've posted on Instagram. I have a sound that people like, and it would be dumb of them to change that.
It happens.
Yes.
I could give you specific
I'm trying to
examples
think.
of it happening. I'm not
From
saying
American
it will.
No, from American Idol.
Not from American Idol necessarily, but from musicians where it's happened, where Saturday Night Live people where it's happened, where it's like you have this opportunity and it's like, I'm not going to turn it down, but then you're kind of beholden to, there are people that can't do certain movies. I mean, this is a completely different example, but I was on Undateable, and then I booked this television show, and I was allowed to do 2 episodes of it, and then they wrote me into more episodes, and NBC said, nope, you can't do it. You're stuck. And it's like, but don't you want me to be on more things? And I don't
Exactly.
understand the logic of it. It's just this control thing. Okay, I'm not saying like you're by any means, I mean, you know better than me, but I'm not saying like, oh no, you're fucked or what did you do? I'm just curious. That is what the business is. And if you know are there anything that you know that you can't do or anything that you know that you can do? I'm just curious about what that process is. So you said you're not worried about creative direction. So if you wanted to sing on this person's song, you could do it?
I was referring creative direction more so in the production of my own music. You know what I'm saying? I of course I'm worried about what I'm going to be able to do and not be able to do outside of that.
Because
when it comes to opportunity. Yeah. Opportunity, I'm like, you don't know what's going to happen. And
How long does that last?
oh my gosh, I don't even. Every contract has like a different.
Oh yeah.
A term, yeah, and it really depends. You know, if you do super well, you can. The contract can be renewed. If you know you're sucking, they probably are gonna let you be a free floater. It depends. Like, it's scary. Like, again, I don't really know, and that's the spooky part.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up more of your time. I'm so interested in this process. I'm such a fan of yours, and I'm excited to see what happens with it. I'm sure by the time this posts, it goes top 7 to then what? 6, 5, 4, or does it go from 7 to 5? Do you know?
7 to 5.
And then
to 1.
Oh, really? There isn't 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Oh, that sucks. Didn't it used to be that way?
It used to go.
I thought it was 10. It used to be 10 down to 1. I know.
Really?
I mean, that was when it was on Fox a while ago, but.
Oh, yes. This
is the first season that I've watched after. I always stop once it goes to live. For whatever reason, I'm out. And then this has been so interesting with how it's been going.
That's funny. A lot of people start when it goes to lives.
To me, when it goes to live, it's produced, and that believability goes away a little bit. I'm seeing something that isn't the artist. Not for right or wrong. It's just my taste. I don't love it.
I know what you're saying.
But when you're seeing you audition and you like getting excited and seeing your family and like you not knowing what, like, that is what, that's what I love. Yeah. But seeing this at home still has that value to me. And now I'm just invested. I've just watched enough of it,
Yeah, I feel that.
Well, the point I was making is when this comes out, I guess it'll be, you will have just found out you're in the top 5.
Top 7.
Top 7 is Sunday. This comes out Monday.
Oh.
So when this comes out, basically, and I'll put up on the screen what number they have to go to vote or whatever, but this will be right after your top 7 performance, deciding whether or not you make it into the top 5.
Oh, okay.
So
got it,
the process, I mean, I guess it's easy. You just do it, but is there a quick way you could explain for people watching now how they could vote for you? I mean, we don't know the number. I'll put the number up on the screen in the description. But what the process is?
I do. It's always 17.
It's always 17. Gotcha.
Always 17.
All right, so
my lucky number, literally, which is dope.
So
that was like my basketball and softball number. That's not important. I'll explain. Ready?
Yes.
So I'm just getting the number up. So first, number 1, you can text 21523, and you can text 17 to that number 10 times. That's one way. So there's 10 votes texting the number 17 to 21513. That's 1. 2, you can download the American Idol app, and then once you're registered for that, there's like a whole bunch of our little faces. You can go to Julia's face. You can click that 10 times as well.
Nobody that doesn't watch American Idol already is downloading the app. I have to imagine.
I know.
That's a pain in the ass.
But then maybe there's like 2 people that will.
If you didn't have the American Idol app, but you downloaded it because of this and voted 10 times for her, leave a comment. Let me see who ends up doing that. Okay.
Maybe 2. I'd be fine with 1.
But if they do the 10, and then they could also do the app for another 10?
Yes, and then hear me out. You can go to the American Idol website, and you can do another 10.
So it's not 3.8 million. It's really like 1.23 million or something.
You're making this less exciting for me.
You know what? Instagram followers matter more than I realized.
No, I'm doomed.
No, your following is about the same as most people. So you could text, you could download the American Idol app, or I'm sorry, the third one was you go to the American Idol website.
Yes.
Okay. So leave some comments. Let me know what you did on both. I want you to vote for her, and I also want to know what type of reach I have with you guys here. Let me know. Put it down there, or DM me or whatever, or go to her page and leave a comment. Say, Rick Glassman brought me here. Yeah, okay, cool.
Sweet.
Well, break a leg, and I'm excited to keep watching. And also, thank you for having a long conversation with me. I didn't know. At first, I thought I wanted to have, like I said, and I still want to have other people on and cut it to like one episode with like 20 minutes of each. But I mean, I had so many questions, and talking to you was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me again. I'm a big fan of your content.
Okay.
So.
Okay. You know, sure.
Sue me.
No. That was me. When people, we could have ended it, and we're not.
Are you an uncomfy compliment receiver?
Here's what I am uncomfortable with. I'm uncomfortable with obligation. Now, I'm not putting this on you, but I'm. This is just the world. When I say to Brian, "Hey man, you're great," Brian is going to say back to me, "You're great." Don't worry about it. When you want to tell me you're great, you tell me you're great.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
But what if I'm actually telling you you're great because you're great?
Then here's what I suggest. After this, another time you tell me.
Got it.
I know we're extending the ending, but I want to tell you. So,
sorry.
David Wayne. I don't know if you know who David Wayne is. Comedian, director. Yes. You do know David Wayne.
Yeah.
Great. He's one of my role models. I've had him up on my bulletin board as directors I want to work with since I moved out here, right? I ended up doing a movie with him. We became friendly. He came and did my podcast. In the podcast, we're talking about everything that I love, right?
Yeah.
And in it, there came a dialogue that I had with him that is this, which is, we did a movie on Netflix, A Futile and Stupid Gesture. It was about National Lampoon and Saturday Night Live and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. We did a screening of it, and then people kept coming up to him to say, "David, you're so great. David, it was so great." And I didn't tell him it then. I texted him after. I didn't want to go in the huddle, and he agreed with this, so I feel like it's got to be right, because one of the kings told me. It doesn't mean as much when you're supposed to say it, as opposed to, "Hey, I was thinking about you, and let me tell you."
Understood.
I want to tell a quick little thing, and then I'm going to let you go. Okay. A friend of mine, Kyle Newacek. Shout out to Kyle. We'll put his Instagram, blah, blah, blah.
Shout out to Kyle.
He directed a murder mystery, that Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston movie. I go to, it's at the Sherman Oaks Galleria at the ArcLight. I go to the screening of it, and it was awesome. I got free candy, free drinks. I got to go right in. Sandler's there. The whole thing is awesome. The movie's over. Everyone goes out this way. I go out cool guy way because I'm in with a cool guy group. In cool guy way, there's Sandler, there's my buddy Kyle, and there's one other person. It's not a big thing, and they're all chatting, and some people are going up, "Great job, loved you in the movie, blah, blah, blah." You know what I did? I had a couple of bunch of crunch left. I saw them, and I went the other way. And I in the moment, I thought to myself, I'm the fucking man. Like, I've been in this business enough. I know how to do it, you fuckers, you losers. "Oh, Sandler, I'm such a big fan." Who cares? You're a nobody, dude. Do what I do. Didn't even wave. Walked out. Texted him an hour later saying, "Love the movie, congratulations," which I did. Great movie, fantastic, great job. And I just thought, like, I know how this business works. Anyway.
You have the power. You do. You know? Because picture this way. If someone, that's a good habit. Okay, now I can't stop chatting. But it's if I just had a performance and someone else had a performance and I said, like, "Really good job." Mm-hmm. It's almost like, do you think people say that just to expect an answer back?
I think that most people don't consciously know their intention, and that's bigger than good job. I think we react on instinct. We react on not wanting to make Brian uncomfortable or whatever the thing may be. It's just patterns of our past. Once you get in touch with that, then you could control it, and it doesn't only make it easier on you to not. When the guy goes, "Oh, fucking, it's, I have a stutter all of a sudden, I'm a fucking loser." You just relax, guy. They don't realize that they think they need to control that. Once you get in touch with it, if you do a performance and you think to yourself, "That was awesome," and you want to tell them, then you do it. Don't not do it or do it for any reason other than that.
Okay, so then, Mr. Man, I said, I really think
what you said.
I was doing it.
What you said was, and this is, I'm making myself look bad. So shut it off. Make sure to vote 30 times. Thank you. And Scoot
you better download the app.
Download the app. But here's what I'm supposed to say, I think, but what I will honestly say I'm sure of. First of all, thank you so much. I love that anything of mine that you've watched, blah, 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 blah. I reached out to you maybe 2 weeks ago. You had school. Your dad, Brian, whoever, not having enough footage to deal with. You have, preparing your shot. You have a lot to deal with. There's no way that you have looked into the nuance of all the things that I could do, okay? What I do is very fun, very believable. What I'm getting at is, without seeing some of these things, You can't be a big fan. Hey, Rick's funny, but you're not a big. So the moment I hear big fan, I'm out.
This is all subjective.
Who are you a big fan? Are you a big fan of Billy Joel?
This is completely subjective.
Everyone turned it off already.
Of Billy Joel. A big fan is, and I said a big fan of your content. And I am indeed, because it's something that I've never seen before. So yeah,
okay.
Just like Billy Joel. Okay. That was a lot harder. Just like Billy Joel has done something that I've never seen before. Rick and his
cartoon dicks,
bath goblin, and cartoon dicks are things that I haven't seen before. So yeah, I am very inspired by what you do.
Love it. I want to make sure that I get out, and I have to get this out. But before I do, somebody buzz. Let me just push it and come back, and then we're done. Give me 1 sec.
Got it. All good in the hood.
This better be a present. Okay. I'm sweating. I'm sweating right now. So, hey, I'm a big fan. Hey, I'm a big fan too. Great. Thank you so much. That's easy.
Great. Bada bing.
We kind of accidentally, because of me, got into I've talked about on this podcast a lot. I hate the how you doings, and you have to say good, how are you? And it's like you get into, it's the same thing as that. Just this thing. What I wanted to do is, when you said big fan, in a perfect world, and we're not quite there yet, thanks to Trump. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. I don't know. So Jewish right now. What I wanted is for you to say, I'm a big fan, and for me to just do this. Okay. Kind of like saying, no, it's okay. I get it. Thank you. You like my cartoon penises.
Understood.
Whatever.
But then you know me. I just have to.
I don't.
I just have to react.
Now I do. And you go, well, what is it? And what I meant for it to be was nothing. But then we dove and we talk about Bunch of Crunch and movies and good jobs. But I will say there is truth to it.
Yes.
Telling somebody that you appreciate them in a moment where you're not walking by them, making eye contact, is stronger, unrelated to this ending. I'm just saying. Does that make sense? So I meant what I was saying, but this was more of a joke. But I appreciate you being a big fan. And I will send you some Take Your Shoes Off merchandise that you could put in the background for your... and I still think it would be fun to have your family dress up as a band and play.
That's a really good idea.
Katy Perry's dressing up as Pop-Tart boxes or whatever. You know what I mean? Okay. Just got so sweaty and hot at the end, and legitimately now like insecure. Like, Rick, you had to go with the big fan. It wasn't about big fan. It was about obligation.
Obligation, smobligation.
Now somebody would think that's a brilliant lyric, and you would have to perform it like they wrote it that way.
Exactly.
Okay.
That could bring tears to people's eyes.
All right. So there's 1 million people out there voting, up to 30 times a piece. Make sure you vote and leave some comments so I know that I helped in some way. And okay. It was nice to meet you and do this.
For real. Agreed.
All right.
Never mind. I'll text you about it an hour later.
Tell me in an hour if you agree.
I will.
All right.
I'll say thank you so much.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see your next performance, and best of luck, or break a leg, whatever is necessary.
Thank you so much.
How do I turn this thing off? How do I? Do you know how to turn this off? Oh, got it.
That was good.
Okay. So I think that's where it could end. But anytime I go more than 90 minutes, the headphones get to me. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Take Your Shoes Off. Make sure to jump on Patreon and to tell your friends, to like and subscribe and leave some comments. And all right. Scoot doo.
Scoot doo. Blabbity blue.